We'll do it. Okay, ready?
Yep.
All right, what's today? The 31st. Tomorrow's already November 4th.
Obviously.
That's crazy.
I'm just wearing cat ears for shits and giggles right now.
Yes. All right, 3, 2, 1. This is milestones. Oh my gosh. See? I start this off and Kate's already laughing at me. This is going to be a hilarious episode. Let it be known that we're in the studio and Kate's wearing mouse ears.
They're
right
cat
now.
ears.
Cat ears
I'm a
right
cat.
now. Oh, you're a cat. I thought you were a mouse.
No.
Let's take a picture and put you on social media. Actually, we already did.
I already did, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. It's Halloween in Chicago. Episode 65, Alternative Fact Chicago. It's B.Hun again with Cait. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
Yeah. Today was a pretty good day, I thought.
Yeah? I said, how are you? And you said, yeah.
I'm actually doing pretty good.
Good.
It was
awesome.
a good day.
I'm so glad to hear it.
What'd you
How
do?
was your Devil's Night?
Devil's Night. Okay. Oh, yeah. So, first of all, for people in Michigan, you'll definitely know about this. And I want to know, is this a Midwest thing?
We talked about
around the
last
country
week.
thing? I don't think we talked about it on the episode, did we?
Yeah.
We never got any answers. So I need to know.
So obviously nobody's heard of it, and it's a you thing.
Okay, so we were debating, and if you remember on October 30th, growing up in Michigan, it was called Devil's Night, where all types of crazy-ish just happened. So they had a curfew, like if you were under, say, 18 years old, you had to be inside by 6 o'clock on Devil's Night. Is that a real thing? Just Michigan, Midwest, if you've heard of it, please let me know, because Kate's saying it doesn't exist.
It's not real.
I know for a fact that Devil's Night exists. I don't know if they still go by it, but
How was your
definitely
Devil's
exists.
Night? Did you set yourself a curfew, get in bed early?
It was a Tuesday, so I kind of took it easy.
Oh, good.
What'd you do? I know I'm lame.
On Tuesday?
Yeah.
What did I do last night? I went out last night, and nothing bad happened.
Nothing bad happened? I would hope not.
Nope. Nothing bad happened.
Anything fun? Where'd you go?
I just went to some bars around Wrigley, went to a couple different ones, and yeah, had a great time.
You are a Wrigley person.
Well, I live right there, so yeah, that's where I go.
I watched some of SmackDown.
Oh yeah,
we're
of
gonna
course
talk about wrestling
it was
later.
Tuesday, can't wait.
Absolutely, had to talk about it. But sorry, I know we're just going on a little rant here. But how about we plug our social media?
Yeah, make sure that you're hanging out with us online, Facebook, Instagram. You can check us out at Alternative Fact Chicago. And, of course, Twitter is AFact Chicago. Me on social, I'm on Instagram at Cait, C-A-I-T, no Jenner. And also on Twitter as Cait Hassett.
And mine is B.Hun 1984. That's B-H-U-N 1984. Our show is hosted on iTunes. That's our main platform. We're probably going to be switching it soon. We'll still be on iTunes, Spotify, where you can listen, but we're working on that very soon. I think we have a better alternative, so be on the lookout for that. And I think we're still stuck. For some reason on iTunes, we're stuck at 199 reviews, and it's been that way for 2 weeks.
Ugh.
We need one person. Please, listen, go on our iTunes, search Alternative Fact Chicago, hit the rating and review, and just leave a review. I don't care if it's stupid, but I'm sick of it looking at 199. It's been that way for 2 weeks. We just need one more. And remember, we're going to talk about our bar crawl coming up. But if you're in Chicago, if you leave our 200th review, you automatically get a ticket to the bar crawl event. So
look at that.
So there's a reason for it. But please, just do it.
That's funny.
Awesome.
Other event coming up, we are doing our first live podcast together as a duo at the Chicago Podcast Festival, Sunday, December 2nd. Tickets are on sale now. Just $14. Super cheap. It's going to be super fun. You get to hang out with us live, and then we'll be sharing the stage with the Southside Heat podcast, NBA star Antoine Walker and his co-host. They have an awesome following, and I think it's going to be a real fun event. So come out. We got our link on social media, so you can buy your tickets now.
I think we're going to reach out to them to see if we can set something up maybe beforehand.
Oh, yeah. That's
either we go on their podcast or they go on ours.
For sure. I like that.
Do a little collab thing. So we can work out. It's going to be a good event. Live shows are great if you've never been to one. A lot of fun. Get drinks. It's very interactive. A lot of people there. It's a really good time. So it's basically what we do come to life. So it's a growing thing. A lot of podcasts do it. And we want to thank the Chicago Podcast Festival for inviting Alternative Fact Chicago for the second straight year. I think it's actually starting soon. I think the end of November. And it runs like a week throughout different venues in Chicago. So it'll be a great time. Honored to be a part for the second year in a row.
Yeah, can't wait to be there.
Absolutely. And then, too, coming up on November 17th, we got the guys from Bacchus Entertainment, a new bar crawl company with a twist that is starting out in Chicago. It's the very, very first one. So we're hoping It's a great turnout. We're expecting it to be a good turnout. Tickets are starting to do pretty well from what I was told from Justin and Devin the other day. So it's Saturday, November 17th, in Wrigleyville area on the north side. I think they're just going to be doing 3 bars. I think Barleycorn. I heard Moe's may be shut down, but I'm not sure about that. And then 2 other bars too as well. We are doing a ticket giveaway, or still going on now. We have not announced the winners as of yet, but if you see the post anywhere on our Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, if you like, retweet it, or comment, or share on it, you're automatically entered into the drawing, which we're going to announce soon. Yeah. We got a lot of tickets to give away, so we need to start announcing some winners here. So we'll get to that in the next week. But we got a lot going on.
And for like all the people that I heard talking and complaining about the bar crawls this past weekend and how they were so crowded, go back and listen to the episode with Devin and Justin, because this is just a whole different mantra for this bar crawl. It's going to be more intimate. It's going to be right here in Wrigley, and it's going to be a great time. So if you are new to the bar crawl scene, if maybe you've gone on a couple and they've been way too crowded and you've had a hard time getting a drink, I think this is the one for you.
Absolutely. And we'll be there, so
yeah, hang out with us.
I'm a lot of fun. I'm not sure about you, but
zero fun. None whatsoever.
Kate's a little fun, so
a little fun.
I think it'll be a good time. Saturday, November 17th. I know a lot of my friends are coming out. I mean, who doesn't like bar crawl, drinks,
right?
Women Saturday. Football will be on. It's a great time
flannels,
in Chicago.
It's fall.
Oh, yes.
Perfect.
The theme is flannels and flapjacks.
Yeah.
So there is a brunch in the morning. Got to wear your flannel. I think there's an after party at the end at John Barleycorn. So it's an intimate event. Should be a lot of fun. Come out and support.
For sure.
Awesome. Fan of the week, and we didn't have one last week, so I feel like we got to have one this week. And I'm going to make you pick the fan of the week for next week, but mine fan of the week for this week.
Can't really make me do anything if we're going to be honest.
Kind of, but you should.
Okay.
I can't always pick them, but this one's a good fan of the week. Her name's Valerie. She's on Instagram at Valerie, V-A-L-E. Oh, I'm sorry, I cannot spell it. Let's start that over. At VALERIESVE. She's been a long time listener of the show since the very beginning. She was going to come to our last live show. Said she'll come to this one. So I know you're listening. I know you'll hear this. Valerie, thank you for being a fan and listener of Alternative Fact Chicago. And it's good that we, through the inception to now, we still have the same list, some of the same listeners, always picking up new ones. And each week, and I don't know what's going on, like I mentioned last week, but the listeners are growing. It's still even growing this week, so we really do appreciate it. And it's awesome to see the support still growing. But please leave a review on iTunes. I'm not going to stress that enough because we need more. It helps.
Awesome. So today's Halloween, and Brian did not let us push the podcast back so I could go out and drink. I was a little depressed about that.
Guys, it's 6 o'clock Central Standard Time on a Wednesday. There's still plenty of time.
Yeah, but you got to spend a really fun weekend out celebrating Halloween. I know a lot of people in the city did. So we got to talk about Halloween. It was like a huge event in Chicago. Lots of people were out and doing things. I saw a lot of bar crawls and a lot of people out dressed crazy. What was the most creative Halloween costume you saw?
So the one I saw, I don't remember in Chicago because Saturday night was pretty crazy. I saw one today, and I want to put the picture. I'm going to find it and put it on social media. It was a guy at like a DMV somewhere. It was in a sloth outfit. Mm-hmm. It was gross, but it was amazing at the same time.
I did see that.
You did see that?
Funny, yeah. But that wasn't in Chicago.
I know it was in Chicago.
That was
but the ones from Saturday that I saw, I don't remember. That was so long ago now.
What?
And it was nighttime.
Oh, right.
It was a lot of fun. It was my friend's birthday. Shout out to my homie Chris. It's his 30th birthday. We had a great time last weekend. He used to be a sponsor for the show, so happy birthday to him. It was a great time. We were out, and man, I don't know if you see my pictures that were online. My Tiger Woods outfit was a hit.
Good.
All right, so
happy for you.
I now know why Tiger Woods got in all the trouble that he got in back when he was married, and then remember he had all the issues with the women, and then he had to like admit that he was like a sex addict, allegedly, and had to go to like rehab for it. White women love Tiger Woods. My God. It was incredible being out. Like, I was like, I'm not Tiger Woods. I'm not the real thing, but they just have an infatuation for Tiger Woods.
Well, good.
It was something to see. I'm like, man, not that I did anything, I was a good boy, but if I get the attention like that and I'm the fake Tiger Woods, I can only imagine what $1 billion Tiger Woods, the type of attention he gets.
Well, I also think that girls, women especially, just really appreciate when a guy puts in effort for a costume. A lot of guys just kind of blow off Halloween as an excuse to just get drunk, which it is that, but people appreciate an effort. So I think the fact that you put some thought into it made it probably better.
Well, it only took about 10 minutes to come up with it. Obviously, I had a half of the outfit on since I'm black, but I already had a lot of the clothes too. So It was a hit, though. No, it was a great night. A lot of fun. I love Halloween. I know people are on social media like, oh, if you're over 25 years old, Halloween, you should be over it, or it's not that cool. Like, bro, stop being a Scrooge. Right. You're never too old to, like, make fun of yourself for a day and laugh at other people's expenses.
Exactly. I love Halloween. Who doesn't like dressing up?
Yeah, you're dressed up in studio right now.
I am. That's because I just came from work, and this was my most work-appropriate costume, cat ears.
Gotcha. So, can't let you slip off of this. Have you seen any good Halloween outfits this week?
Yeah, so I saw a girl dressed up as the Cardi B meme, the little Cardi B with her hands on her hips, and she had like these snap-off pants with the red stripe down the side. It was hilarious. I saw a lot of people dressed as memes. There was one person dressed as like the Arthur meme with the fist. Yep. I was dying at that. It was super funny. And then, of course, like the basics that everybody's over, the just like store-bought lame ones. But
always.
Yeah.
You wear once and then throw away.
Yeah, for sure. I have a couple of them somewhere. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm going to wear this again. I'm never going to wear that again. So.
No, Halloween's awesome. I like the biggest thing is like seeing the kids dressed up. Like, they're all so innocent and cute. They love getting candy. My daughter's a unicorn, which baby mom hasn't sent me a picture yet, and I'm pissed. I told her I want to see. I guess she's going trick-or-treating like right now. So she says she'll send me a picture, but cool. I'm sure she looks beautiful in her unicorn outfit.
I'm sure she does.
Yeah, so stop being Scrooges of Halloween. Get out, enjoy it. It's a good day.
But
sure. Tomorrow's already November 1st. This year flew by, but I'm actually ready for it to be over. It's a crazy year. But I feel like 2019 is going to be my year. I'm just kidding.
Cool.
You know when they always say next
year
is
your year? Just put it in motion.
Year?
Just like announce it right now and put it in motion. It's going to be B.Hun's year.
It's always my year.
Okay.
Duh.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of somebody who it's his year all the time, also get into some main topics, and we got to talk about President Trump. I don't know if you saw this in the news. You probably did if you haven't been living under a rock. But President Trump is making the motion to end birthright citizenship for those born in the U.S. to illegal immigrants. So this is like a really big deal in the news right now. This is part of his immigration reform and all the steps that he's making. And he came out and announced that he wants to take this right away. So basically, as everybody knows, if your parents were not born in the United States and they move here and you are born in the United States, obviously you are a citizen, just like everybody else whose parents were born here. If they were born here, they're also a citizen. So this is part of the 14th Amendment that reads all persons are born or naturalized in the U.S. and they're subject to jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. So he's basically not only changing this, that if you come into the United States as an immigrant, either specifically illegal, but if you come into the States as an immigrant and you have a child here, then that child does not receive citizenship. So a lot of people are saying it's against the 14th Amendment. A lot of people are just saying that it's effed up, it's... What are your thoughts on it?
Well, obviously everyone knows it's effed up, so I think we don't really have to assume that. The thing I like about this is that even other Republicans are coming out against Donald Trump. And Paul Ryan, who I'm not a big fan of, House Speaker, he's not running for a re-election. I guess obviously he's getting the heck up out of there, which smart move.
Can you blame him?
Yeah, right? So he even went against Donald Trump. And, of course, Donald Trump saying, why are you tweeting this? He was saying Paul Ryan should be focused on holding the majority rather than giving his opinions on birthright citizenship, something he knows nothing about. Man, why are you tweeting this against people who actually should be on your side and your own team? So It doesn't make much sense. I mean, obviously, he's saying closing the immigration loopholes and securing our border. He really wants the United States to just be the United States. I mean, it's just not fair. It's bogus. It'll never happen. What's the little loophole to where they're saying that he can do it? It's one little clause in the 14th Amendment, which I can't find right now. If you know what it is, well, I'll find it here in a minute. But it's basically saying subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Right. So basically, he's saying that's the loophole that you could find a way of changing it because they're obviously the jurisdiction, so he could say no.
I just think that he's crushing the American dream. I just feel like there's a couple things that make up the American dream, and one of which is that people can come over here and start a new life and start a family, and that's literally the point. That's what all of our values are based on. That's what our predecessors are based on. That's what our ancestors, that's why they came over here from Britain in the first damn place, and he's trying to take it away. And I just think that it's absolutely ridiculous. I think he's going way too far on this citizenship rant that he's on and this illegal immigrant thing, and I just think he's pissing a lot of people off, and like you said, including Republicans. And it's very clear where the line is like divided right now, and those are the only people that are on his side.
Right.
So like you're not a Trump supporter if you're not Republican, whereas I think it's been the other way around with past presidents. So
right.
Just interesting. It's interesting to see him attack somebody via Twitter and tell them that they don't need to be tweeting, because that's literally all I think he does all day from the Oval Office.
Seriously.
So I'm just excited to see what's going to happen next.
So it sounds like it may go all the way up to the Supreme Court.
I think it will. I don't think it's actually going to get passed. I think he's going to have a hard time getting it by everybody that he needs to. But I think just the kind of fact that he brought it up is ridiculous.
Right. Was this one of his plans before he got in the office? I don't remember him ever saying that. So, of course, like now that he's actually in the seat, he can just start doing wild things like this. Because obviously he's in the seat. He has people that are going to support him no matter what he says. Like, you'd be surprised. There's a lot of idiots out there.
It's so interesting how we've gone from like Barack Obama's presidency, where the main values and things we were focusing on was like bettering the country, and everything that this guy is focused on is like keeping people out. It's just like crazy. Where are our values right now? Just turned upside down.
It's nuts. Like obviously with the shootings, churches, schools. There was like a shooting in a school, and they like kept the kids in school, and like classes were still in session. It's like everything is just so messed up right now. It's become normalized.
Yeah,
it's pretty sad.
It is sad.
But please, if you are really a Trump supporter, for one, don't listen to the show. Sorry.
Oh my
we don't need you as a listener. But actually, no, you can really listen, because maybe we can educate you on why you should not support him.
I would like to hear the other side, though. Like, I would like to hear
Very
a Trump
true.
supporter tell me why this is a good idea. I'm interested to hear, because pretty much everything I read was on the opposite side.
What could they really say that it's really not
I don't
much
know, but
they
I'm
can
interested
say.
to hear. I feel like we should open it up.
Always.
Let us know.
I got a
Message us.
I got a homie who may be down for that.
Yeah,
but
cool. Let us know. We need
he'll
to know.
remain nameless for now. I don't want to blow up his spot.
Just in case.
But we'll see. Yeah, let us know your thoughts on this. Obviously, it's crazy, but what will be the alternative if you have any other ideas? But, I mean, I feel like this is United States, free country. It's for a reason, so people should be welcomed, not...
That's what the Statue of Liberty is for.
Absolutely.
She welcomes you.
So
It's a thing.
Donald Trump, he could have got Clown of the Week for that. He can always get the Clown of the Week, but it is what it is.
Then we'd talk about him on every episode.
Absolutely, which I'm trying to not do, but this one I think we had to discuss because it was just nonsense. Awesome. Switching gears out of politics right to football. You know, I love me some football, college football. It's a great time of year. Michigan is doing well, so it's been a good football season so far. But they announced the first college football playoff bracket. The top 4 teams were announced. Alabama, number 1. Clemson, number 2. LSU, number 3. Notre Dame, number 4. My boys in blue, Michigan's 5. And then I think Georgia is 6.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Is this season over? Like, are we just playing for Alabama, or does anyone legit have a chance?
So in the past couple years, I would say nobody could beat Alabama. Obviously there's 3 teams right now that are 8-0, including Alabama, Clemson, and then Notre Dame. Notre Dame's in a whole different league. They have no chance of beating Alabama, but I actually think Clemson has a chance. I'm not going to say they're going to. I think it's still a little too early to tell, but Alabama struggled in the past against like spread offenses, and obviously they've improved. They get better every single year. The team is never in a rebuilding year, always on the incline, which is crazy to see, especially from just a college team in general. And while both teams have a ton of athletes, I just think that the athleticism on the offensive side in Clemson's behalf is just so much better. I think that when they're pinned up against each other, Mackenzie Alexander is going to shut down Calvin Ridley. I think people just don't give him enough credit for the fact of how well he can guard. He's one of the best wide receivers in the nation, and he's just got talent and confidence above what Ridley has. Ridley's a freshman, he's young, and Alexander's been around for a while. So I think when they actually come up against each other, I think Clemson has a really good chance, if they continue to play the way they're playing, of beating Alabama. I think it's going to be a huge upset. I think it's going to be crazy, but I'd like to see it happen. I like Alabama, so it's weird for me to say, but that's what I think.
I like Alabama too, just because I like teams that win. But I think the method has switched now to people watch Alabama just to see like if they can lose.
For sure.
I think that's the only reason, because, I mean, they're just a well-oiled machine. And I love how Nick Saban, every year he comes in, he plays as if, like, they didn't do anything the year before. Like, they didn't win a championship. Like, they don't have the top recruits. Like, he takes, like, every day seriously. Right. And the team and the players, like, actually, like, respond to him. So
absolutely.
He does
he's
something
a great
well.
leader.
Yep. This weekend, they got a big game against LSU. I think it's at LSU. Tough game, and this is the type of game that Alabama would lose. A lot of times they don't go undefeated. Right. They normally lose like once, and this could be that game that they lose. But I don't think, even if they did lose to LSU, I don't think it means anything. They're definitely the better team. Yeah, Notre Dame, no. Honestly, you might be right. If anyone can probably hang with them, it might be Clemson. Mm-hmm. But I think by far and away, like, the season's over. It's actually kind of a boring season because I don't think anyone really has a chance. I thought Ohio State might have had a chance, but they've kind of fallen off. They do fall off early and come back late in the season. That's kind of their trend. But even still, I don't think that they could keep up with that.
I will say, though, I hope that Notre Dame I hope it comes down to Alabama, Notre Dame, and Notre Dame wins.
Why? Notre Dame?
Because, listen, coming from the South, SEC fans are the absolute worst. I'm sorry for any of my friends who are listening right now, but Georgia fans are the worst. Alabama fans are the worst. SEC fans think that no other football franchise in the world can compete with them, and I just would love to see them lose. It would be really great.
Yeah, what about, let's say, all right, better team. Let's get Michigan in there. And
okay, cool. Michigan. I don't really care. I would love to see the SEC lose.
Which I'm okay with the SEC losing. Okay, but I'm glad that Michigan's in the picture. Finally, Harbaugh's got them going. I was wrong at the beginning of the season. I was like, if he doesn't pick it up, he might get fired. But I think he's finally got a turnover. We actually have a quarterback now. Shea Patterson's dope. Woo, woo. Our defense is amazing. I can't believe they're number 5 right now. And they control their own destiny to make the playoff. All they have to do is win this weekend at Penn State. And they got 2 more games in Ohio State. And then the Big Ten championship. So
and then they can beat Alabama.
Yes.
I'm fine with that.
I don't know if it'll happen. I think a sleeper team is Oklahoma. They have 1 loss. They're number 7 in the rankings. Their quarterback's dope. They got a good team. They lost a close game to Texas. So I like how all like the heavy hitter teams, like all the best teams are at the top. So like say if like Notre Dame, Michigan, Alabama, and like Clemson was the playoff, I think that'd be an awesome 4.
Yep.
But I think in the big scheme of things, you need to go to a 16-team tournament and just do this. Like, why are we still messing around with 4 teams? Like, let's get a real tournament.
Because it's college. Easy. Oh, my gosh, because it's college.
Let's do this. Like, you can have an 8-team and a 16-team and leave it at that. Like, don't go past 16, but I think a 16-team tournament will be perfect.
I think that's too much. It's college. Right. Because these kids have to focus on school. It's college.
You think those guys care about that?
Oh, my God.
They're fine. So I'm saying Alabama, the season's over, no shot to anyone beating them. You're saying possibly Clemson.
Possibly Clemson, yeah. I think Clemson has a really good chance if they keep playing the way they're playing.
Awesome. We'll see. But good game this weekend. Michigan, Penn State, LSU, Alabama. So this past weekend sucked for college football, as most of you probably remember. So I'm pretty hyped for this weekend.
Cool.
Awesome. Let's do everything Chicago. But before we do that, we should pay some bills. So this portion of the Everything Chicago segment is sponsored by the Wrigley Report. Cubs fans, if you're looking for the latest Wrigley renovations, updates, team news, player analysis, and overall Cub news, look no further than Wrigley Report, your source for all Chicago Cub news. Find us on all social media sites at Wrigley Report. Once again, that's at Wrigley Report. And last week for our Everything Chicago segment, shout out to Devontae Boston.
Yeah, good job.
TGI Movement and Good Kids Mad City. Awesome segment. Got some pretty good feedback on him. He listened back. He said it was awesome. It was good to have him on for the city of Chicago.
It was very cool.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. He's doing a lot of good things, too. So he's young. What do you say? He's like 22, 21?
Yeah, 22. Yeah, super young guy. He was cool, though.
He's got his head on straight. He's doing a lot of good things. Selling some products. He's got a lot of followers on social media, so we'll definitely be doing some work with him very soon. But thanks, Devontae, for coming on the show. And be on the lookout for our next guest, which I don't know who that is yet. We'll figure it out soon.
Okay.
Awesome. Everything Chicago, what's going on in the city?
So some big things on the ballot. If you're not registered to vote, obviously, here's our other plug to make sure you do so. It's officially like November by the time you're listening to this, and elections are like tomorrow. So make sure you register to vote. Lots of things on the ballot that Chicagoans need to be thinking about. One of the biggest ones on everybody's brain right now is, should the city of Chicago be banning straws, plastic, non-reusable straws? Been in the news a lot lately. What do you think on this?
I mean, I think it's a start. I think the plan is what they're going to do. I know California's already done it to where they've banned like plastic straws from their restaurant table. So basically, starting in 2019, customers have to ask if they want one. So they'll still ask them, but they're not going to automatically put it in your drink.
Right.
I know some Chicago bars have been doing. I've been a lot of places to where they don't have it. I'm like, bro, where's my straw?
You don't use a straw, do you?
Sometimes.
Oh.
Is that okay?
I'm surprised.
There's a straw in my coffee.
I'm surprised. I bartended and served tables for a long time, and I actually find most dudes are really weird about straws.
Why? Like they do like them or don't?
They don't.
Yeah, it makes it. I think they think it's
don't.
like a feminine aspect to it.
Yeah, like they don't. Like it's phallic almost. Yeah.
Man, I don't care. Give me a straw. I'm comfortable with my manhood. Forget all that. I want a straw.
Okay.
Gotcha. But no, a lot of corporate companies, like I think Starbucks, American Airlines are starting to think about not offering plastic straws. It's going to take some time, but they're starting to plan that too. So the thing about plastic straws is it's actually a good start, but like that alone like won't really change much, because I think I was reading a stat from like the Business Insider says less than 9% of all the plastic we use every day gets recycled. So whether straws or like any type of plastic, essentially only 9% of it's getting recycled. The rest is just floating in landfills out in the ocean. That's where you see it in like the noses of like turtles, and that's kind of like what the big issue is. So ideally banning straws, okay, it's cool. I think it's a start. I'm still probably going to use one, but at the end of the day, I don't think that's long-term goal going to like really fix the problem, but I think it is a start though.
Yeah, so this has been in the news a lot lately. Plastic straws are made of like a byproduct of petroleum, and so it requires so much energy. And like you said, people aren't taking the effort to actually recycle them, so it's putting a strain on our natural resources. I think that people will probably vote against it, and I think that they're going to just turn it into the bag thing in the city of Chicago, where you have to like bring your own straw. My roommate and I actually did buy stainless steel straws that are reusable, and we use them, and I love them. And so I think we're going to get to the point where it's like going to Jewel and bringing your own bag, and you're going to be bringing your own damn straw to the bar. Wow. So if you're like that serious about it, B.Hun, that might be where you need to go.
That's a good idea. What are they called?
Reusable straws.
Reusable straws.
What do you mean? What are they
I don't
called?
know.
It's a reusable straw. The ones we have are stainless steel, but I mean, you can get them like plastic. You know, sometimes like cups come with them.
Right.
So yeah, I think we might end up like taxing straws, because that's what Chicago loves to do. And eventually people are going to be like carrying straws around in their pockets, like head in the bar.
Sounds fancy.
Yeah, super fancy.
I was reading the article. I don't know if you actually got to read the article that I sent you, but it was a lot of things that they're voting on, like for the city of Chicago, like what should be banned. About like if like marijuana is legalized,
right?
Something about like the revenue. It's actually a lot of things that they're voting on. It's actually very important that we do vote. It's a lot of big things for the city. As like one, they were saying a term limit for Chicago mayor, which is good. Like you'd only effectively have 2 terms, where like now it could be endless. Like you could be the mayor of Chicago for 50 years if you wanted to.
Right.
So like just little things like that, where I think is important, that why we should vote. I've actually already voted, since I still have a Michigan license. I never really changed it over, so I had to do like the absentee ballot or whatnot. So I'm voting for Michigan. Well, I already voted for Michigan, but still, Illinois has a lot of stuff going on, so please get out and vote.
Yep. I already did.
You did?
Yeah.
You did?
I marched to the polls and voted. What do you mean? Yes.
I didn't know you did it that day.
Yeah, girl.
Girl? What the heck? Is that like your little figure of speech? Hey, girl, hey? One of those.
No, it's you drinking out of a straw right now.
Wow, look at the shade being thrown. You see the stuff I have to deal with, listeners?
What's
Jeez.
next?
So, if there's no more shade, let's move on to Google. Yeah, always. I deal with this all the time, people. But you know what? It's all good. So Google confirms a big expansion of their Fulton Market offices in the West Loop. And so the thing with Google in Chicago, it's growing like crazy. Essentially, when it first opened, it was just like a smaller sales office. But now I guess they're moving to 32,000 square foot in a 12-story building in the West Loop. Essentially, they're moving like a lot of like product, engineering, technical infrastructure, advertising, and more to the Chicago area. So with the Chicago like job market, a lot of the millennials in the city, obviously it's a good place for Google to be. I think just at first they thought it was going to be a smaller sales office. Obviously, it's growing like crazy. So with that being said, I think they have over 1,000 employees now. Is going to continue to grow there. So obviously, if you always had the idea, live in Chicago, to want to work for Google, they're definitely going to be doing some hiring here very soon.
Yeah, I think it was really interesting in the article that the officials at Google, everybody who's high up, is very like silent about how many people are going to get hired. Like they've not disclosed the information. It's obviously going to be a lot of people. I'm assuming people that they're hiring here from Chicago, and then also people that they're moving here to kind of start this endeavor. And I think it's really interesting because Google just moves in silence. Like it's like just become a staple in our economy and in our world and in our culture without us ever even like noticing. Like it's like Illuminati famous. Like they just like appeared out of nowhere and now they've taken over the world. So I thought that was really interesting. I think it's going to be awesome for people that want to get on with companies. I have a lot of friends who just dream of working for Google, and I think that it's a cool place to start. So
it's awesome. Great for your resume, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And they're going to open up a lot of jobs and a lot of stuff here. So awesome. Come on, Google.
And I think they have not announced where the second Amazon headquarters is going to be. I think they're announcing that at the end of the year. So a lot of these big companies like Facebook, Google are kind of waiting for that announcement too. Mm-hmm. If that came to Chicago, which I don't think is going to, but that would be nuts.
Yeah.
More jobs here too.
For sure.
Which is crazy, 'cause I feel like a lot of people are leaving Chicago, but apparently not. There's more like high rises being built on the daily, like they're everywhere. Mm-hmm. And they're always getting rented out, bought out. So
yeah,
clearly,
it's hard to find an apartment here.
Which is crazy because there's like a million places to live. But
right. Crazy.
Awesome city. What else we got? Well, this one's not necessarily the best story, but what's going on with the Chicago public schools? Actually, it's not a terrible story.
I was like, really wait, yeah, I don't know. So if you didn't hear, Chicago Public Schools enrollment has dropped by 10,000 students this fall. It's the sharpest single year enrollment decline in 16 years. So at the 20th day of classes, that's what we found, dropped 10,000. It's like a smaller drop than a couple years ago, but declining enrollment isn't really new. They highlight the challenge of like the supply and demand and all the different options around the city. People are getting options for schools. You know, there's private schools, there's charter schools, there's, like city versus county schools. And so people are kind of pulling out of the public school system here in Chicago. It's kind of an interesting story as we see people talking about wanting to put money back into the school system and how important it is. And now I feel like on the flip side, it's like, well, kids aren't even going to these schools as much anymore. So what do you think about this?
For various reasons, obviously with like the charter schools opening, they're popping up all over the city. So that's another option. Obviously they may go to Catholic schools or just a type of way to like better their education. A lot of schools have been closing. And obviously, when I was first reading the article, I was like, man, this might be terrible. When I saw the headline, it made it seem like it was a lot worse than it was. You see 10K less in enrollment, like where the heck's going on? But obviously, they just have like other opportunities right now. I think that's kind of the bigger thing. I think they do need to invest more money in Chicago public schools, just in general. I mean, just obviously they've closed a lot of schools. Yeah. Kids are going to schools in areas that they don't need to be in, like crossing like enemy territory, so to speak. So they need that option, but it's not as bad here as long as they're going to school somewhere. If these kids are not going to school at all, I think that's a terrible thing.
Well, that's another interesting thing that the article highlighted was like almost making it seem like because people aren't going to these schools, the funding will be there. Like the classes are going to be smaller, the kids are going to get more personalized attention. So it almost seems like it's a win-win for everybody. The people who don't want their kids to go to Chicago public schools, take them to a charter school, and the kids who are there who maybe don't have the opportunity seem like they might be able to get more resources, more one-on-one attention, because the classroom sizes are smaller and they're making classrooms smaller and stuff. So it actually might end up being a really good thing. Exactly. I just think it's interesting, like 10,000 students, like surely there are private schools and charter schools and other opportunities, but like 10,000 students seems like a lot of people to just like not be in school. Like, right. So what y'all doing?
Even like a thousand of those have to be people like not enrolled at all.
Yeah, it just seems like a really odd number. They're also talking about blaming it on like declining birth rates and the slowing of the immigration and other things like that. You know, millennials aren't having kids, blah, blah, blah. But I just feel like 10,000 is a large number. Like, where are these children? Where y'all at?
Exactly. So we'll keep up with this, but gotta love the CPS schools.
Yeah.
The facts. So actually, no, this last story, which I don't know if you can pull it up because I can't, because you know the Chicago Tribune, I'm not subscribed to it, sorry, but you can only like get so many clicks on it. But this one was saying that $1 billion rail service from Chicago to Ohio is going to be built by like 2026. Basically, was going to say, obviously, we don't have one from Chicago to Ohio, which is crazy, seeing how close it is from Illinois to Ohio. And then two, They say you can get there, like the trains will be going like light speeds. You can get there in like 3-4 hours or something like that, when really you couldn't. So that's kind of like the tidbits of what I remember of the article, but still cool to see that they're doing more expansion in the city. 2026 is a while though, so a lot can happen between now and then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of other cities that are currently talking about bringing back rail service, and I'm not really surprised that Chicago's talking about it with how pro public transportation we are. But basically, they're saying that they have a Fort Wayne-based group that's kind of working on it right now, and they do a lot of analyzing with the city and who would it affect and how would it affect everybody, and they do a lot of planning. But yeah, they're saying between the years of 2026 and 2030. There will be this rail service that can carry over 300,000 passengers.
Wow.
And so it's going between 79 and 100 miles per hour and just making a few daily round trips, but it means cutting this trip between Ohio and Chicago in half. So it's good for people that travel for work. It's good for people that travel home. It's good for tourists coming to and from the city. Right. So it's kind of a big deal. And it's interesting that they're bringing it up now right after what's his name? The guy from Tesla talked about bringing, what's his name?
I forgot.
Just talked about bringing that rail service, super fast underground rail service.
Elon Musk, right?
Yes, thank you. I was about to Google it. Thank you. So it's interesting. It's going to be a lot of money, obviously, and it's probably going to mean higher taxes. But I mean, I think that these are things that, put value to the city.
I would not be the first one to ride on that, though. I want to see it go through a couple times.
Because 100 miles
going that fast might be a defect. I know there was like a new train they built in like Washington or something that was supposed to go much faster, and it derailed like the first ride, and it killed a lot of people. So
well, that was like the first automated car that they ran. Yeah, that killed like 2 people. So
would you ever ride an automated car where it's just weird? I don't know if I could ever do that. Like you're in the car seat driving, but you're not driving.
No.
One lady's like, "Oh, I can like read now, like while I'm in the car."
No. I can't even like get my nails done and not watch the guy. I think I can give up control, like driving. Hell no.
We all know you like being in control.
Yeah, that was creepy. But
that was very. That sounded terrible.
That sounded
like on
really
the optics
bad.
of it, but
okay.
You know what I meant?
Yeah, control over my life. Thank you,
That's
Brian.
exactly what I meant. Get your mind out together. Get your mind out together. That's awesome.
Oh my God. Can we move on?
We can. I love our city though. It's kind of a slow week in Chicago. Not much going on, but Halloween's right now, so all the kids are trick or treating. Be safe out there though. And she's just laughing at me always. I swear. I'm glad I could be your entertainment throughout the week.
This is why you're my clown of the week.
Whoa, that's harsh.
You're not really.
We got a secret topic we're going to talk about quickly before Quick Hits. But before we do that, what's going on with Posh by Mighty?
So of course our Quick Hits is brought to you by our good friends at Posh by Amani, a women's apparel boutique based out of Houston, founded on faith, love, and the right to stand out. They just launched a brand new website. They have a brand new location in the works. They are doing some big things over there, so make sure you check them out. Plus, offering free shipping until the end of the year, which for people that shop online like me, you know that's a huge deal. So check them out online, poshbyamani.com. Also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at poshbyamani. That's IMANI.
Word.
Yeah. Okay, so we have to talk about this. I sent this to you, and I had no idea you were going to throw this in to the mix, but we also posted this on social media, and I absolutely encourage everybody to read it in surrounding of the Me Too movement and all these officials throughout the world that are getting busted on sexual and abuse allegations charge. It's just kind of really posed this question from BuzzFeed News as, will the time ever be up for abusive men in the hip hop industry? So very well written article. This Sylvia Obel, props to her. She researched, she came with a lot of different angles, and it was a fantastic read. So just throughout the past year of holding men in entertainment to task, the music industry just kind of overlooked abuse allegations in one of the most popular genres for men artists, particularly African-American men artists. So the disparity between like the music industry and Hollywood and how they've responded to the Me Too movement, it was foreshadowed by award shows. And I remember you pointing this out on previous episodes of me even being on the podcast, and how the award shows have just kind of changed this year, and a lot of award shows have been dedicated to the women, but not music shows. Of course, there was like the Golden Globes where the women showed up in all black to support the cause, and several activists kind of showed up talking about women's rights as guests on the red carpet, and the winner spoke up against harassment. But other than that, the music industry has been so hush hush about the Me Too movement, and it's all been like entertainment and movies and Henry Weinstein and all these people. And so given these considerations, is it fair to deduce that these alleged predators are facing fewer consequences? Like, do hip hop artists not have to answer to these? Because she names a ton of people that you even forget, like Jay-Z, Eminem, with his ex Kim, XX Tentacion, of course Kodak Black, Lil Wayne, Chris Brown, 6ix9ine, Pusha T, the Nas and Khalees thing. I mean, even I had totally forgotten about Russell Simmons. It's all come up. R. Kelly, obviously one of the most famous. So it's like this culture of silence. What do you think about this? Are hip hop artists ever going to answer to this?
Well, they're starting to now. Like, obviously, Nas is in some crap. Fabulous is in a situation. Obviously, him and his girl are still together. So obviously, I'm not getting anyone else's business. If they're working it out, then that's what they want to do.
And the other thing we have to take into consideration is that a lot of this is still alleged.
Absolutely,
it's innocent until proven guilty. America,
Absolutely. Russell Simmons is going down, so they're starting to make the turn to the music industry. And I won't say rap is kind of like adopted like a rape culture, which I won't say that it is, but it's just like when you're an artist, it's kind of like more of like a dominant persona, so to speak, like where, like if you're a hip hop artist, you have women around you, you have groupies, they want to be around you. So just kind of have that persona about you that you can almost just like dominate women. Like the simple fact that R. Kelly's been able to do what he has been able to do all these years, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, better late than ever that it's starting to come crashing, which is good to know. XXX Tentacion, obviously rest in peace. He was in the middle of, a rape case where I honestly think deep down, if he was never shot and murdered, he was probably going to end up getting convicted for that. Especially they had the interview come out last week where he essentially, they released these tapes or audio saying that he basically did beat her up. Allegedly. But so obviously a lot of these people just have issues and problems. I think the biggest thing about this story, and just in general when we're looking at like these hip hop artists and other acts, a lot of times you have to separate, like if you like these people for music, you should like them for music and music only, for the songs that how they can entertain you. I don't really care. You shouldn't necessarily worry or like think of them as to be like a role model for you. Like, I don't need them to be my role model. Obviously Jay-Z's a great role model, but I don't need XXX or Fabulous. I don't want them to be my role models because they're real people. They're humans themselves, and they're going to also make mistakes too. So I can't hold them to a pedestal where I can judge them on what they do. Not my problem. You should listen to them for the music only. But at the end of the day, what's right is right. What's wrong is wrong. You should not be abusing, condoning any type of violence to women, and if that's happened, they have to get the consequences that come to them, which obviously happened to someone like a Bill Cosby.
Yeah. Well, I got a rebuttal for you, because if you're saying that we're concentrating on the music, though, when you hear about stories like this, when you hear about Eminem and when you hear about Fabulous, I mean, they caught him on video beating up his girlfriend and nothing ever.
So remember, they were yelling. He was yelling at his girlfriend, but there was never any
verbally
video.
threatening.
Yes.
Okay.
Which I'm not saying it right or wrong, but everyone has been in an argument with their significant other.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to your point.
Anyway, so if we're only focusing on their music, though, and then we know these things about their personal lives, doesn't it make you reevaluate their music and their lyrics and think like, damn, they basically let us know, like Eminem, how damn aggressive is he? How much does he talk about beating up Kim and doing bad things? And maybe he's remorseful now in the aftermath, but it almost makes you, I mean, it's like the whole script is flipped. Like, we know these things about these people now, and it's like you almost lose respect for the music too, because they're talking about it.
The crazy part, I'm sure these things were happening in the 80s, 90s.
Yes,
like
absolutely.
during like the death row days and all that, the Tupac days, Biggie days, just like that type of culture existed. The difference was there wasn't social media, so you didn't have the access to these stars like you do now. Like, you go on their Twitter, it's like you can follow their whole life and day to day. If like one little slip up happens, someone's gonna catch it on camera, or just someone's gonna report it. Someone's always looking for a come up. So you kind of got to walk on eggshells. Where back then it would have taken a lot for this type of story to come out against you. Obviously, Tupac got in trouble for that, which I don't think he did it, but obviously he had to do some jail time for that too. So it does actually happen. It doesn't happen a lot, but a lot of your stars actually go down. Chris Brown, obviously it happened with Rihanna. It took him years to kind of get like his pedestal back. Like, he kind of fell off for a little while because of it. So I think some artists are getting their just due. I think overall it is overlooked, because I think the biggest thing is they make great music, and a lot of times these people just want to be entertained. They don't look to these people as role models. I think that's why I think a lot of it gets pushed to the side.
Yeah, interesting. I just suggest everybody reads the article. There was also another point that she brought up that I don't feel like we should dive into, but she did make a suggestion, a reference that a lot of it has to do with race, and if these attacks, encounters were against white women, the world would be more enraged, because, you know, as Malcolm X said, the African American women are the society's least concerned with them. So I think everybody should check it out. I think it's a self-reflection thing, and it's time that the world starts talking about it and that hip hop starts talking about it.
So I think they kind of are, which is good, but I think talk about it more. But I think a lot of times, I think the biggest thing is a lot of artists are rapping about that type of culture less and less, which I've noticed on songs, which is a good thing, because they'll use those types of things against you with like evidence nowadays. So
yeah, well, they should.
Kind of, but yeah.
I mean, how can we use it against Brett Kavanaugh and not against R. Kelly?
Hey, that those two are scum. So I mean, they go hand in hand.
Both scum, both garbage.
Yeah, let us know your thoughts. Though it's a good topic. We feel like we should bring it up and mention it, but that type of story is never going to go away. It's going to be more cases, but I think it's good to bring it up, bring it to light, because it's important to kind of stop it. I think the Me Too movement has done a lot of great work in 2018, but I think it's only just the beginning. Do
you think there can be hip hop music videos without hoes in the background?
No. Not like, remember like Tip Drill, like that Nelly video? Oh my God. They used to only come on like late at night on BET Uncut. Yeah. I know a lot of you listeners remember that. Like, you had to like watch it when your parents went to bed. It was crazy times. But they don't do music videos like that.
Right. Thank God.
Not anymore. Awesome. Let's move on to some quick hits here. We got some good ones today. So I want to get your thought. I bet we're going to disagree more. I think last week we agreed a lot, but I hope we don't agree on much this week. So the first one, we haven't talked about in a couple weeks, but we had to bring this up briefly. Kanye West, is he out of the sunken place? I don't know, but he claims that he was used and is now only going to focus on being creative. He claims he's going to get away from politics and just get back to what he does, and that's just being a creative genius, allegedly. Why now? Do you believe it? What's your side?
I think probably a good amount of it had to do with the fact that Kris Jenner was just on Ellen and basically dissed Kanye and was like, oh, that's just my son-in-law. I don't know why he does this, and opens his mouth. And I think that probably really opened up Kanye West to the fact that his family disagrees with him, the fact that he's getting backlash from celebrities. And I think in Kanye's world, he thinks that, you know, I mean, like I've said in the past, he's a Kardashian now, and he thinks that all publicity is good publicity. But I think he's actually really seeing that he was a pawn in this whole scheme. Trump needed one black supporter with influence. It happened to be Kanye. He had no idea what the hell he was doing, and he was a pawn in the whole scheme. And he even tweeted about it. He said that his eyes are open now, and he realizes that he was used to spread messages he doesn't believe in, and now he's distancing himself. So I think that the reason why is that he finally opened his eyes, like he said, and he realizes like how manipulative the whole situation was. And man, they got him good.
How would he not know what was going on? Like, you really think he didn't know? Like, if he's a creative genius, you think he couldn't, or even gotten the message passed to him somewhere along the way that he's getting used?
I mean, creative genius isn't actually mean that you're like book smart or street smart. I mean, yeah, but people get used all the time and don't know it.
He had to have known. My guess is, from what I was seeing online reports, that his new Yeezys aren't selling as well as they normally do. Normally, they're always sold out.
Right.
They have not been. Possibly, obviously, you know, they're kind of backlashing against him. He could be promoting some new music coming up, so I think he just needs to kind of hit the reset button on everything. And people are trying to say, oh, he met with LeVar Ball and LeVar Ball helped him change his mind. No, I think this is all made up. I think he knows what he's doing. I think things aren't selling well, like a lot of his business. He has something to promote. And I think he needs to finally take a scale back, because he was probably like, oh, this MAGA thing I'm doing, it may not actually work. Like, he probably thought it was going to work and people are going to be on the side. No, bro. So I think now he's finally realizing that it didn't work. So this is kind of a way of stepping back. I don't think he's that clueless.
I think he slowly walked past a mirror wearing a Make America Great hat again and was like, what the hell am I doing?
Facts. Crazy.
Moving on to some Instagram news. So it's kind of been a big deal today. Cristiano Ronaldo, the famous soccer player, is now #1 in followers on Instagram. He passed up Selena Gomez. He now has 144,536,048 followers.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. So many followers. A lot of people are basically saying Selena Gomez is still in second place with just a few behind that, and in third is Ariana Grande, and fourth is Kim Kardashian West. A lot of people are saying that this has to do with Selena announcing that she's taking a social media break. She's been having some health issues, obviously, and so that is like big news today. Is this a big deal?
No, not really. I mean, it's awesome. That can't, who has or the time? Like, why do you need 144 million followers? That's that's a lot of people. Ronaldo's really got the juice though. So imagine he's basically like the Michael Jordan of soccer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Essentially. So
he's brought so much notoriety to the sport itself. It's pretty cool.
Speaking of the Me Too movement, like that one girl, I don't know what's going on with that. They was trying to claim that he assaulted her, sexually assaulted her. Get the heck out of here. Ronaldo does not need to sexually assault anybody, especially with 144 million followers.
Nobody needs to sexually assault anybody,
why would
Brian.
he ever want to? That's just ridiculous. Like, sometimes they use the Me Too movement
don't even start. Don't even say she was lying. We're not talking about this right now.
Fine.
We're not blaming victims. We're not believing victims. We don't do that here.
Maybe, but
anyway, I think this was really big for Instagram because the last person that held the world record for the most followers was Taylor Swift. Obviously, we know Instagram has a wide demo in like teenage girls, and that's why it would be T Swift and Selena. And now it's like a sports person, a soccer player, not even like an NFL. So I think it's really cool. I think it's big for Instagram.
Shout out to Ronaldo.
Yeah.
And he's on a new soccer team this season, so good for him, man. He's that guy.
Making moves.
Yeah, here we go. So switching to some music. Whose side? Oh my God! Hopefully this is the last time we talk about this. They keep creating beef, and like everyone has to talk about this. But whose side are you on, if any, in the Cardi B and Nicki Minaj beef?
I just go back and forth. I just think this is so stupid. It just keeps going on forever and ever and ever. And I am pretty much always team Nicki. She's one of my favorite. I've always been a huge supporter. But I think what it's really come down to now is that she is so threatened. We've seen her start beef with all these other people because people compare themselves or rappers to Nicki all the time. Any woman rapper is compared to Nicki. It's like the MGK Eminem thing, just on the women rapper side. And I think that that's where most of this animosity has built up. And I just think that they both need to let it go. It's just over. Cardi B is a fantastic artist and they're different. But I gotta side with Nicki because she's my favorite.
So I'm actually surprised. I thought you were gonna take Cardi.
No.
So I'm actually going to take no one's side. I think they're both at fault, so I'm not on anyone's side on this. I think it's petty. Deep down, looking at the root causes of their issues, there really is no real issue. It's kind of like one of those things where it's like, damn, we're like two pretty women at the bar. And that's kind of like where it started from. I think Nicki Minaj, she's had a bad year because of the fact she's always in crap with people, whether it's a corporation, whether it's another artist, a female artist, a producer. You're doing too much. And I think where she went wrong, she should have embraced Cardi B on her come up, and they could have made a lot of money together, because Cardi B seems like a cool person, but obviously it went left from the jump, and it just never really went right. And now they're actually just beefing, sending receipts of each other. It's just petty, high school drama, to where both of their fan bases are all into it. Obviously, the media is going to cover it, but it's just making them both look bad at the end of the day. When you're a big star like that, you're a big star like that. I know obviously Cardi B, where she's from, she's still as real as can be. But when you get to a certain status, you're not going to see Beyonce or Rihanna out there doing that. You gotta change your ways. So I think it's a bad look for both of them. So I'm not on anyone's side, but I hope it's over. They say it's over for now, but it's definitely not over. I promise you, they're going to run into each other one day. Something's going to happen to where it's just going to keep going on. But in 10 years when they reunite, it'll be a good song.
I think it's going to get squashed. I think it's going to be over. I think it's just going to end right now. I think they both kind of realize that it's come too far.
I don't know. Nicki's crazy, so we'll see. I hope for the
Cardi
best,
B is not.
Yes.
Right.
She's just as petty. Oh, God. She's just as petty, so I wish I could do that.
That's how women are, though. That's how women fight. It's just is the way it is. Like, unfortunately, I think Nicki's been threatened from Cardi from the beginning, just like she's threatened with all the other female rappers that she's beefed with.
But there's room for all of them. Like, she can't be the only dominant, female artist. Like, there's room for all of them to make money, so just embrace them. That's where she went wrong. If she fixes that, she'll be okay. But right now, she's not in a good light, and it's annoying. I'm over it.
Over it. Hey, new products from Apple due out November 7th. New iPhone, new iPad, new MacBooks. The biggest issue the biggest upgrade that they're making is bigger screens, getting rid of the home button, kind of catching up to where Droid has been in the last 10 or 15 years or so. And so nothing really crazy, but some game-changing updates. Are you an Apple or Android person?
Easily an Apple person. When I text someone and it comes up in green, I'm like, ooh.
Judge them?
Yeah, I don't want to text with you anymore. Like, when you got group chats and it's like 4 people with an iPhone and then 1 fool with an Android, like, come on, bro. Like, just get with the times. The funny thing is Apple essentially steals all of Android's ideas and like makes it theirs.
And
so
does it slower?
They do it slower, but they're going to catch up with the times anyway. So just be an Apple person. I feel like the Android people, sorry if you're listening to this, I feel like they do it just to be different. They're like, oh, we're Android, we're so much better. No. I don't want to talk to you. So just get an Apple iPhone, get Apple products, and the world will be a better place. What about you?
Oh, well, I have an iPhone, but after like my last 2 iPhones have crashed and left me in like super vulnerable places where I had to get another iPhone in order to get all my stuff switched over, I think my next phone will be a Droid. I'm not going to lie. I think I'm going to switch.
Well, I won't be texting you when that happens.
I can't wait for that moment.
Let me know. I'll email you, though.
Awesome. I can't wait.
We can email each other because I will not be texting you.
We'll see. I haven't made a commitment yet, but the Droids take really good pictures, which anybody who follows me on Instagram knows I take a lot of selfies, and it's important to me.
But the funny thing is a lot of people that go to Android always come back.
Yeah, we'll see. So. They make it so hard to switch, though. That's the issue. If your iPhone breaks, you can go and literally get set up with the same phone, but a better one, like down to your freaking screensaver. Yeah. But going from like Apple to Android, they make it so hard to switch over.
That's why they want you to keep it.
I know, so they can keep taking my money.
Switching gears, so previously on Alternative Fact Chicago, one of my homies, Anthony D'Amico, Fire Up Chips, he went to Central with me. So he decided to do the great idea of going on the Lifetime show, Married at First Sight. Went on there, had a great season. It was season 5, I think, 2 seasons ago. He's still with the girl Ashley, and now they're actually expecting their first child. They're actually just doing a second season right now. It's like a spinoff. It's called like Married at First Sight, Happily Ever After. Just kind of like talking about the marriage life ever since the show, and obviously announcement of their baby girl that they're going to be having very soon. We're definitely going to get him on the show. I talked to him recently, so he'll be back on Alternative Fact Chicago to talk about the season that I think just aired this past Tuesday, each and every Tuesday for the next 8 weeks. But I wanted to ask you, would you ever get married at first sight?
Like go on the show or just get married at first sight?
If the next person you see, they're like, you're marrying this person, if they set it up somehow, would you get married at first sight?
Hell yeah. I can always get divorced.
Why would you want to do that? That's the problem with it, where people just get married because they know I'll just get a divorce if it doesn't work out.
Yeah, why not? I can get it annulled if I want to. It doesn't matter.
Then what's the point of even getting married if you know it's going to end?
Well, clearly I'm not married, so...
We know after last episode. We're not going to get back into that.
Yeah, I don't know. Why not? Think of the story you'll have.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Anthony and Ashley have worked out. It's a very rare case. I think most of the couples that have done that aren't together anymore. So
I mean, but a lot of couples that get married aren't together anymore anyway. Very much. So I feel like a lot of people, the model of like, oh, you got to be with someone for 5, 6, 7 years, those days have changed. I think a lot of people that are still together met and like got serious or like engaged within the first 3 or 4 months. So
people are moving faster. It's 50-50 shot of the work, but
I think that has to do with the fact that people are getting married later. Like, yes, absolutely. If you're 20 years old, please stay engaged for a long time and please date for a while and learn each other and then learn yourselves in the process. But if you're meeting each other at 30, 32, hopefully you have a fairly great understanding of who you are and what you're looking for and what you want out of life. And so I feel like that speeds up the process.
Cool. So you said you would. I don't think I would do it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, but I would.
Well, then you're just automatically tied down to one person forever. And if it doesn't work, it's a big process to start over and it's a mess. So kudos to Anthony for doing it.
That's a terrible reason to not try something. Oh, because it might be hard. It's a journey.
Well, then go try out for the show.
I will.
We're going to put you on Married at First Sight, Alternative Fact Chicago edition.
Perfect. Then we'll have 2 people on the show.
Absolutely.
All right, let's switch gears to some sports. Of course, the NFL trade deadline just went down. Of all the receivers traded on Tuesday, who got the best deal?
So, unfortunately, my Detroit Lions, which got to be my clown of the week for the day, they're getting it. So I'll get more of that soon. They made an idiotic deal and traded Golden Tate, their best receiver, for the past few years. He was leading their team in receptions and yards this season. I didn't even
know that I knew this many Lions fans. Tons. They all blew up on my timeline. I was like, where y'all come from?
Lions fans, they were pissed yesterday.
Yeah, I saw it.
They were enraged on Twitter, Facebook. It was an interesting day, but he got traded to Philadelphia, to the Super Bowl champs. He's going to fit in perfect there. They only had to give up a third rounder to get it, which I think in value-wise, I would rather take Golden Tate over whoever that third-round pick is in next year's draft. So I think by far and away, they got the best receiver deal because he fits their team, their Super Bowl champ, and they needed a receiver, so it was perfect.
Cool.
Who you got?
The Broncos' decision to trade Thomas. Of course, it really wasn't a surprise. They received a 4th round and 7th round pick in the 2019 NFL draft, but I just think that this was a super good move for them. Obviously, Thomas is like a 4-time Pro Bowler, and the Texans were in the market for a wide receiver after Will Fulmer suffered a season-ending ACL tear. So I think that was the best option for everyone, and of course, Thomas is going to have a bang-out rest of his season, so I can't wait to watch the Texans now.
That's not a bad deal.
I've never said that, so.
Right? No one ever says, I can't wait to watch the Texans. That's very rare. They got a good team, though. I like Deshaun Watson. He's dope. Amari Cooper going to Dallas. People trying to say it's a great deal for Dallas. I don't think it's going to be as good as they want. Obviously, he's young, but they gave up a 1st rounder to do it. And 2, I think Dak Prescott's just not a good quarterback, so I don't think it's going to matter. I think until they get a better quarterback, he's okay, but he's not one of the top 20 quarterbacks I would take over. There's a lot of quarterbacks I would take before him, so I don't think he's going to have that big of an impact, and I'm sorry, but Dallas sucks.
Womp womp.
Even though they beat the Lions, but they still suck. Sorry, Dallas fans, if you listen to the show. Now, are the 2018 Boston Red Sox the best baseball team of the modern era? Shout out to Boston. Congrats. You guys killed it. You are the World Series champions. Is this the best team you've ever seen?
Yeah. Well, I already called that a couple weeks ago. I said they were going to win in 5, and I won that. And I said that they were the best Boston team in franchise history, and I think that is absolutely true. I mean, this was their 4th World Series win in the last 15 years. They've been on the top for the last almost 2 decades. Of course, they lost only 3 games in October. I mean, just amazing. They're an amazing team, the best in franchise history. They bested the New York Yankees, who had a 100-win season. I mean, it just a record year, a record team. And yes, I think that they are the best baseball team of the modern era for sure.
Yeah, they dominated. It wasn't even close.
Not even a little bit.
No-name players was I don't remember his name, but he was the American League championship MVP. Their whole team just dominated. Their starting pitchers were closing games. Yeah. They had a squad, and the sad part is a lot of their players played on the Tigers. Even the GM was the Tigers, so I feel like a piece of me is with Boston. So maybe the Tigers get a half World Series. But the only other team I remember, the 2009 New York Yankees team. I don't know if you remember them. They had the year the A-Rod, Derek Jeter, CC Sabathia. That team was awesome. I'm thinking of all the past World Series winners, the Astros last year. No, Cubs were good, but no. Kansas City, no. The only team would be the 2009 Yankees. But even still, this Boston Red Sox team is absolutely amazing, and if they bring everyone back, they'll probably be the favorite next season.
Yeah.
Bryce Harper, is he coming to Chicago?
Yes.
He better.
Yeah.
They need him.
Yeah, I think he definitely is.
Wrigley
we shared that on social. I definitely think he's coming to Chicago.
Yeah, him and Wrigley, oh my God. That place is already rocking, but I think it'll be rocking even more. He's good friends with, I think, Rizzo, too, so.
Cool.
What I hear, so hopefully it happens.
Yeah. Even
What's
better.
next up? Is this me?
No, it's me.
Ooh, I like this one. We got to talk about this.
All right, awesome. So John Cena and Daniel Bryan are boycotting WWE Crown Jewel. If you've seen it, you've seen the WWE has taken a lot of heat for this deal with Saudi Arabia following the murder of the Washington Post columnist and then inside the consulate in Turkey. So WWE initially said that it would monitor the situation. Not everybody agrees. Mark Henry said it's their duty to go. Who's in the right here?
So the thing is, it's been a social media battle for like weeks. So like people saying they're actually going to watch Crown Jewel on Friday or not watch it. This is like fans, obviously, of WWE. Like a lot of fans are pissed. I'm not pissed. A lot of them are like, I'm not pissed. Like whatever they're going. They're like, oh, we're going to ban and not watch the show. Well, you have fun not watching it because I'm definitely watching Crown Jewel. Like whatever the business decisions are, that has nothing to do with me. I'm going to watch it for the entertainment. I think I'm taking Mark Henry's side on this. He said obviously it was a horrible situation that it puts our country in, but that's the policy. So basically, like if the business matters are worked out, which has nothing to do with the talent, essentially the talent is owed to go out there and handle their business to their fans, to their other, teammates or other coworkers and things like that. He's basically saying, I mean, he's not mad at them for not going, John Cena and Daniel Bryan, but at the end of the day, it's like their duty to kind of do what's best for business and support the company that they're working for. Like obviously John Cena, he can't go right now because he's still doing movies, and I think it's just not good for his reputation to go right now, which I guess I can kind of see that. Daniel Bryan, I'm not sure why he's not going, but I think it's bogus. I mean, if everyone else is going, obviously outside of the business aspects, we know it's wrong, but I think they should go. They should do their job and do this for the fans and go there and say, hey, even in the face of fear, we're still going to stand up and do this. But what would you think? Do you think they're right for boycotting?
Well, I just think that it's not really smart to be putting all of your best players. Are they sports players that we're calling them?
Sports entertainers.
Are they actors? I don't think it's really smart to be putting all of the best people in any business in one spot at the same time in such a controversial time of both mind and place. So I think that, I mean, unfortunately, I don't want to like jinx anybody, but I think you're opening yourself up for something bad to happen. You're putting your people in danger, and I think it's a little bit irresponsible. But at the end of the day, I don't really care.
What are the odds that something bad's going to happen to them while they're there?
What are the odds of the Ariana Grande concert in London getting blown up? What are the odds of packages going to Barack and Hillary with bombs? I mean, the fact of the matter is terrorist attacks are happening all the time. Why would you want to go against the odds? I don't know.
I think that WWE is getting like upwards of $40 million for doing this. So
yeah, cool. So do it, but you're putting people in danger. So just keep that in mind.
I think they'll be okay, but I see both sides. I can see why they would not want to go and refuse, but I'm still watching.
Awesome.
Can't wait.
Yeah, report back to us next week.
Oh yeah, we'll have a full review on social media.
Yeah, on
and
social, on your Twitter.
66. My wrestling Twitter's lit, man. I love it.
Good.
Lastly, so this was nuts. I got a story for this. New York Post reports that the club drug ketamine, which is absolutely insane, could be the cure for depression. Was it a slow news day, or what the hell is the New York Post talking about?
Yeah, so if you don't know, ketamine is super K. It's also called the chameleon drug, and it's now being the unapproved treatment for depression and suicidal behavior. But from what I read, it's not even like depression. It's like there's a new wave of like super depression, like unbeatable depression, where people are saying that regular depression medicines aren't working, aka our country is over-medicated. So now clinics have opened up around the United States promising instant relief with doses of ketamine in IVs, sprays, or pills. Desperate patients are shelling out thousands of dollars. This is not covered by insurance. This is not FDA approved. This is not doctor approved, except for these certain people scant evidence on the long-term benefits. But people are saying like their lives are changed. They are paying thousands of dollars out of pocket with no financial help, and they're finally free of their depression and their suicidal thoughts. I mean, the people that I read, like the testimonials, I was like, y'all are out of your mind.
They're crazy. They're actually like supporting it.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a party drug. Of course it puts you on high. That's what it's meant to do.
Essentially, it's a short-term fix, too. Like, they said it doesn't, like, fix any long-term issues.
But most antidepressants are a short-term fix. That's why you have to take them every day. This
was a stupid article. I don't know, like, what they, like, of course, any drug you take, whether it's Molly or something, it's going to be a short-term fix. You're going to feel great. And it's gone, and you need to keep paying more, and you'll be right back in the depression once it's gone.
I think that's called addiction.
Duh. So I'm like, what, so you're just feeding people.
Dummy.
You're just feeding people more ketamine. That's just another drug. So it's not FDA approved to like actually be.
But they're not snorting it. They're taking it in IVs. Doesn't that make it better?
I guess. Yeah, it's just it runs right to your bloodstream. That's
exactly.
That's gonna fix the problem. Crazy ketamine story. And I'm scared of it. I'll never ever try it after this when I saw this. So
when you told me you had a scary story, I really thought you were going to tell a story about doing Special K, and I was like, please tell me he did this at North Coast this summer. Please tell me.
No. I've done a lot of crazy things with Special K. Is one thing I won't do. But my boy Woody, who I talked about last week, so we were at another music festival, Electric Forest. This is in Michigan a couple of years back. Him and one of our other friends, they decided, I don't know, they were gone for a while. Like when they weren't with our group, all of a sudden they came back and they were like, oh, we randomly found 2 people who offered us Special K. We never tried it before. So they took the bright idea, so they're going to try it. I know Woody, I just know how he is. I'm pretty positive he took way too much because maybe about 20 minutes later, we're like walking. I don't know what happened. We were like, it's a side ranch. I know Electric Forest was nuts. But there was a ranch you can like go in and hang out for a while. He went into a K-hole. Do you know what a K-hole is?
I don't know what a K-hole is.
He couldn't move. Like he could like move his head, but we had to like wait for him. He physically couldn't move his body for a long time. Like I think we had to wait for him, but I don't remember exactly, like between like 1 and 2 hours. Like we had to literally just sit there and wait for him. It was an odd experience. Like his head was moving, but his body was like, he was like laying on his stomach. He could talk to us, but he literally couldn't move. He was literally in a K-hole.
Okay, but the most important question, did he seem depressed?
No, not at all.
Oh, perfect.
I mean, he was freaking out because we didn't know, like, dude, is he gonna die? Like, we were scared. It was weird. Like, I've never seen that before. But he was
sounds like Woody can't hang. Just kidding.
Yeah, Woody, he's gonna hear this. That's like, I'm gonna tell you a Special K story. But he got out of it. It was weird. Like he got out of it, got up, it was fine. It was over. But he was in the K-hole. From that, I would never try it because I was pretty scarred by that experience.
Yeah, that's scary. So well, if he's ever super depressed, maybe he'll want to turn back to Special K for help.
I don't think he's ever tried it since, but I could be wrong.
All right, let's move along. Clown of the week, and you wouldn't share yours with me.
Well, I kind of did on the episode, but it's definitely the Detroit Lions.
Oh, lame.
So I have to give this to him today because I think there's a fan base that kind of like showed that trading Golden Tate. I mean, we're actually 3-4. We're only 1 game out of first place to the Chicago Bears, which I'm not scared of the Chicago Bears in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
The Lions are. Obviously, we need offense, and we just traded away our best receiver. I think, obviously, business-wise, it's a good move because it was the last year of his contract. They probably weren't going to re-sign him. I get that. So you think to want to get something for him. But is that third-round pick basically saying we're not packing in the season? I think to the Lions fans and probably some of the teammates, like we're giving up our best receiver. The organization saying we're not giving up on the season, but obviously that's the way it looks. Like if you're Matt Stafford and they give up their best receiver to trade away to a rival team in Philadelphia who's in the same conference, like what are you really telling to your team? I think it was a bad thing to do. I think long term we should have just eaten him, not losing him. They would have got a compensatory pick or something. Like it might have been a third rounder anyway. So essentially you just traded him early for no reason. Unless you got a backup plan saying like one of our other receivers like Galladay or Marvin Jones is the answer, then that's okay. But the optics don't look well. I mean, like I said, on Facebook, Twitter, all the Lions fans are pissed. They're like, they love Golden Tate. He's a good player. And we just basically gave him away for a third-round pick. I'm sorry. It was bogus. Another crappy decision. And that's why it's very hard to be a Lions fans because they do this crazy things like this. So I know a lot of fans may say, oh, it's best for business. No, you want to win. And I think the season's over now. And sorry, Lions, but you get the Clown of the Week.
Awesome.
Who you got?
So at the Boston Red Sox, of course, they won the World Series, and so they hosted a parade like some people probably remember a couple years ago in Chicago when we won. And these fans thought it was a really good idea to throw beers at the players that were coming down the street in the parade. Yes. And I guess in their brain, they thought the players were going to catch them and toast them and have a beer with them, which some of them actually did. So that was cool. But the manager, Alex Cora, got hit in the face with a beer, got a black eye, and was pissed and got the guy arrested. So to ever the fans that decided to throw beers, and they were like Miller Lights. Like, it wasn't even like a good beer, like trash beer, at the Boston Red Sox player, and then got arrested and taken out of the World Series parade. You're my clown of the week. I just feel like this was a huge day for Boston history. You guys just came off a awesome World Series. You should be high on life, and I understand that you were drunk and having a great time, but throwing beers, like, come on. Cans of beers, like, that's silly. Give me a break.
They're probably like launching it at them too, not like throwing.
Yeah, of course they were. It's baseball players. They were like trying to prove how fast they could throw. Yeah. Just nailed him. If you watch the video, it's really funny. Nailed him in the face, and Alex Cora got real butthurt.
Yeah, and a black eye.
Yeah, and a black eye.
Imagine you're celebrating a great day,
for sure,
one of the best days of your life, and then you just get hit with the beer in the face.
With a Miller Lite. Like,
yeah, it's not even a quality beer.
Can't even make it a good beer.
Not even a quality beer. This is a funny episode.
Yeah, it was great.
I like it.
For sure.
What else we got? Is that it on our docket? We got nothing left?
That's it.
That was a good episode. Very informative. And you're always laughing at me, so it's all good.
Yep.
So what do we have coming up? So obviously we got the bar crawl coming up. We got the live show coming up. We may have a new sponsor soon, but we'll announce that soon. We got a lot of good changes coming to the show.
Yeah.
Doing bigger and better things too. So we appreciate it.
Always.
And it's doing it for you. Thank you for supporting the show. Because if not, if you guys weren't here listening every week, then we would have no way to go. And there'd be no one listening. So we appreciate you. We do this
except
for Chicago.
Us.
Yeah. We'll be talking to each other every week. No. That wouldn't be fun. I would have been over it by now.
Wow.
So we'll be back next week. What's it? So already, that is nuts. I cannot believe it's the end of the year.
Already into November.
I'm down for Thanksgiving though. Thanksgiving is always a fun time. I like to eat a lot.
Cool.
And then Christmas. Are you gonna go home for the holidays?
Yep, I'm gonna go to Georgia for Christmas. Taking a week off for my birthday at Thanksgiving, so I will not be here.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm sure you can.
So make sure you follow us on all our social media. Like I said, AFAC Chicago is Twitter. Please leave an iTunes review. And then you can also email us at alternativefactchicago@gmail.com. And that's all I got. Anything for you?
Yep. Follow me on Instagram, Cait, C-A-I-T, no Jenner. On Twitter, Cait Hassett. And tune in next week.
Absolutely. So this is B.Hun Cait, episode 65, Alternative Fact Chicago. And we are out.
Bye.
Sweet. How long was that? Long as fuck. Oh, was it?